Hey, David, you know who this episode of Gaytriarchs is brought to you by?
Who?
Gaddy's. Gaddy's is the gay dad brand.
Started by a gay dad and a total DILF, by the way. Gaddy's is here to celebrate gay dads with pride and style.
We love their hats, tees, and hoodies for the entire family. David won't take off his Yes Gaddy hat.
And Gavin is obsessed with his Caught in a Dad Romance t-shirt.
Caught in a bad romance.
Gaytriarchs listeners get 20% off their first order using code GAY20.
Shop now for the holidays for all of your friends, gay or other, at heygaddies.com.
That's HEYGADDIES.com.
That Daddy Claus, the strangely hot, what am I trying to say? Oh, God damn it. What's the term?
I knew we'd get a cold open. I knew we would get it. I knew if I just waited long enough, like a Christmas miracle, it would arrive.
And this is Gaytriarchs.
So the other night before bed, I'm trying to get my son dressed for bed, and he's doing the funny thing where he's like kicking and saying no, but it's all playful. And now he's totally naked, kicking me. I'm trying to put his underwear on. We're laughing. And then he just stops. And he looks him right in the eye. He goes, "Dad, watch." And in one fell swoop, he throws his legs over his head and farts right in front of me. And Gavin, what I realized was I have never seen nor ever wanted to see a close-up fart. a physiological rendering of a fart from a 6-year-old child. And I have been changed for the worse.
So what was your immediate reaction?
I literally froze like a deer in the headlights because A, it was gross, but whatever. But B, I was like, that's what a butthole looks like when it farts. It was horrible. It was like seeing the creature in the Alien movie. You just, every part of you is like, I will never recover from this. So if any of you out there, any listener out there are considering having children, just know you will have to see your 6-year-old fart
in your face. And they will catch you. You will have no expectations of it coming. It'll be complete surprise. Mm-hmm. I mean, that has happened to me multiple occasions, but also with my children. But also, here's where I'm going to call your bluff, or actually just point out our incredible differences and what a little ice skater of a gay boy you were. You never once were like at sleepovers with friends where somebody bent over, pulled them apart, and farted for the laughter. By the way, let me make very, very clear, nothing sexual about it whatsoever, but just being boys.
Yeah, maybe, but there's something about like direct overhead lights, point blank range, tiny butthole. Like it was all just so fucking disgusting. And you know, once you have kind of left the diaper phase for long enough, you're not in that area very often. Maybe you help them wash in the bath, but like even they know how to wash their own butt, and maybe you'll have to wipe their butt every once in a while. But like, you know, I'm kind of out of that area. I've put in I've served my nickel. Okay.
Yes.
However, so anyway,
he must have been so proud. I mean,
it was like the funniest thing that's ever happened in his life. He talks about it all the time. He's like, "Remember when I farted right on you?" I said, No. It was that you threw your legs over your head like Gavin on prom night and just let it loose. So anyway, parenthood, guys. No.
I love it. No. I love it. I mean, that seems like I'm disappointed in your level of shock or disgust because I just feel like this is a rite of passage.
Yeah.
Also, I can't believe it's not happened to you before already. Yeah. I think you're hiding your skeletons in your closet from our listener, but nevertheless, That was hilarious. Hilarious. Okay, we have real shit to talk about, all right? Real
Okay.
shit. We're already behind the curve. We're behind the algorithm. Big surprise. Nobody pays attention to us anyway. But if listener has not already seen it, I do think we need, being gay representatives of the world, we have to talk about Wicked 2.
Yes, leaders in the gay community, I believe, is what we were.
Yeah, exactly. So, but also knowing that we're behind the 8 ball, everybody's already discussed it. This is already old news. People have moved on to Zootopia 2, which was fine. Although I literally took a $26 nap through the first half of it. I want to know, what are your top 3 thoughts about Wicked?
I'm glad it exists. I won't like trample on dead stuff, which is like Michelle was terrible as like whatever. We all know that.
Arguably miscast, but
I miss a strong, consistent voice in big movies like this. It feels very much done by committee, where everyone got to have their say, versus like it really feels consistent. And so I was a little let down in general with the kind of point of view, and especially when you have characters who so dramatically change from the beginning of this story to the end. I very much missed the fact that we go from this beautiful Cynthia Erivo, doughy-eyed, oh my god, blah, 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 to the fucking evilest, wickedest witch in the world. I wanted to see, when she was singing No Good Deed, the cracks in her face and sweat coming from her brows and her teeth out and her spitting. I wanted to see her getting to that point of, I am the wicked witch. And instead it was this glossy, pretty, overly CGI'd song. So I was in general a little disappointed. I'm glad it exists. I enjoyed it enough. And the end. What about you?
Dear listener, now you know that David really does have tremendous abilities as a visionary director and writer, and should be doing this, because his level of digging into the weeds put me to sleep. How about you? Can't we just love it?
This is why I'm not
it,
working. Yeah.
But not analyze it. Okay. Well, this is the answer that I was looking for. Number 3 for me is Sex in the Tree. I was not expecting to see Jonathan Bailey's top of his hairy chest sitting with Cynthia in the tree. I don't know what I guess I'm just not that deep a thinker. Of course, I knew that something was consummated in the song. What's their song? What is it called again? Do you hear the people sing? Is that what it is? Anyway, their song. I was
as long
that
as
just
yeah.
It took me out of.
But that was a good example of like,
I was shocked.
That should have been those two clawing at each other, ripping their clothes off. It should have been sexy. Instead, it was like polite.
It was
a
very
polite song, right?
It was
like,
polite before.
Feed on each other. When she turns him around and she goes, "For the first time, I finally feel." I wanted her to go, "Wicked," like she was about to fucking jump on his ass. Instead, she went, "Wicked," like the name of the movie. I'm like, I want. Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah.
Number 2 for me.
Yeah.
They're just lost in the desert at the end. And I think that Cynthia's looking off into the distance, looking at, Ariana, thinking, oh, fuck, I want to go back where it's colorful and I can like eat.
It's very windy and I have sand in my vagina. I did not appreciate this. Yeah.
I have been banished. I have chosen banishment. I did not see that coming. I assume it was in the book, which I did read last century. I definitely remember nothing about it except that Fiyero had tattoos all over his body or something like that, which never made it in the musical. But the whole desert at the end, I just thought this was not the ending I remembered or wanted for them, because it looks like the rest of their lives are going to be miserable and not like, I chose love and so there was some sacrifice. No, she's going to be like, I chose love for this. This sucks. Anyway, but then here is where I have totally redone our outline, because I had so many what would you do moments in the movie where I took my kids to see it in New York City in the 4D theater. It was not worth it to see it in 4D. We should have seen the first one in 4D. My daughter saw it in 4D.
Wait, what's the 4th D?
4D. There's a movie theater. There's movie theaters now sprinkled across the country, and there's a few in New York that are, you are basically, it is the very sober, low-key version of a Star Tours experience, where you're sitting in a chair that moves around a little bit. You have
Oh,
water
okay.
splashed
All
in
right.
your face. You
Got it.
feel the wind. At one point, I thought somebody was kicking me in my back. No. It's like little things gouging you
Got it.
during the fight scenes and
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah.
It was a unique experience, but Wicked 2 for Good was not
Doesn't
the
need
movie
it.
to see
Yeah,
in
yeah.
4D. We should have literally seen a Marvel movie or something
Mm-hmm.
instead, right? But sitting behind me, I was sitting with my daughter and her friend, and then behind me was my son and his friend. And as the movie went on, there were two what seemed like teenage girls sitting next to my son behind me who were talking more and more and more and more through the movie. And it was becoming very much a classic New York City scene where you're sitting in a movie wanting to be polite and absorb every single moment of it, but you're being taken out of it because of this situation, right? It escalates. They have the sex scene, right? And suddenly they're like, oh, they fucked. Oh, they fucked. Did you see that? They fucked. And I'm like, you're sitting next to a 12-year-old boy. Must you have this commentary? And it also became a running, just a complete diatribe throughout the entire movie as they're narrating everything to us, right? So we're getting closer and closer to For Good, the song, which is lyrically often stupid, but at the same time marvelous. And you just want to, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, bitch, you are not going to ruin this movie at this moment for this fag. You are not going to do this, and you're not going to ruin it for my kids. You're not going to ruin it for the people around me. But I was sitting there thinking, I'm sitting next to my 14-year-old daughter who's going to be like, Dad, do not embarrass me. Do not embarrass me. Do not. Finally, I'm like, you know what? I'm a grown ass. I am 50 years old.
Half a
What
century.
what are they going to do to me? So I can hear the music starting for Good, and I'm like, nope, I'm doing this now. I whip around and I get right up in their faces, and they were like, what the hell? And it wasn't teenagers. These were like 40-year-old women.
Mm.
And I got up in their faces and I said, I know this movie is not that good, which honestly, it wasn't that good. I know this isn't that good, and I kind of want it to be over too, but we're coming to the most critical moment in the entire movie. Would you please, for this moment, be quiet? Also, you're sitting next to my 12-year-old son and watch some of your language. Well, I can imagine that I came out of nowhere in the
Mm-hmm.
dark and they were like, what the hell? They weren't scared, but they were like, I think I spoke too quickly for them. And
Mm-hmm.
also I got close to them and I smelled booze. And I'm like, oh, you're drunk in the middle of the afternoon. It's all coming together. But they basically said, you're good. You're good. And I'm like, yeah, I am. But hopefully this solved it. And I went back and they were quiet for the rest of the movie. And so bringing it all together,
Oh, thank God.
one, I've rarely done that before, but to cap this off, and I know you're already rolling your eyes at me, but my 14-year-old daughter said, thank you for doing that. And my son said, they were talking through the entire movie. Thank you for doing that. And I was like, for once, I got one win in 2025, which was my children were impressed that I shut somebody up at the movie.
Yeah. I mean, that is an interesting topic to discuss at another point, is like that line of defending your children for their sake, but also for your sake, for the immediate thing, which is them shutting up, but also to show them that you will protect them, all of those things, and what that line is. And I don't want to be a Karen, but I think we all, in general, as people, we do it far less than we should. You should have stood up within the first 5 seconds, but we're all worried. A, does this person have a gun? B, am I being a total fucking Karen right now? Yeah.
Yep. It's a man going after two women.
Yep.
Does this look ridiculous, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
And you're
Anyway,
like, ladies, a man is talking.
Yeah.
Please be quiet.
And afterwards I did stand up and I said, thank you very much. And they said, what did you say earlier? And I'm like, you're so drunk.
You're so drunk.
But they did shut up. So
listen, clearly their lives have not worked out the way they planned if they are drunk in the middle of the afternoon at
3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Do you know what I mean? So
all right, thank you for bearing with me.
Yes, of course. No, everyone wake up. Everyone who's been driving, please wake up. So we got a listener email, and I want to bring up, because this is actually tied into something I'm doing at my kid's school right now. We had our listener Eric Christian, write in, and he was asking us what are our favorite two dad books. And he goes, I was at your Halloween events. Nice to meet you. Thank you for.
Aw.
Oh, and he also said, thank you for all that you do and are doing for this community. And I
Aw.
just rolled my eyes. But because I was like, community. But he brought up a good point, because I'm on the like DEI committee at my kids' elementary school, and they're putting together like a DEI bookshelf of like
Oh, yeah.
whatever, it's not at Target, but they were asking me like, what are some great, queer books or whatever. And
Yeah.
I also, like Eric had mentioned, kept going to the same 5 books
Yeah.
of like Two Gay Dads, whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm putting it out there to you, listener. If you have one of your favorites, not In Tango Makes Three and not, not all those, but like if there's a great book that either deals with surrogacy or adoption or two dads or whatever, please, 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 would you send us a DM, send us an email, and let us know, because I think it would be great for us to find other ones, not only for my kids' bookshelf, but just in general, because we've all read the big ones and they're all good enough, but it would be nice to kind of spotlight some other ones.
And you know what we're going to do?
What?
I'm going to make another open promise that I can't follow through with,
Mhm.
but I'm going to challenge myself out here and hold myself accountable. We need a book list on our website.
That's a
Now,
good
first
idea.
of all, for listener, David didn't even know we had a website a couple of weeks ago when I said to him, the website needs to be updated. And he goes, we have a website. But that is not a difficult thing to do. I pledge to you listen, the end of the year, we're going to have a book list there. And that would be a great resource that we can get for folks. Because frankly, I mean, I'm out of picture book phase. And I know some young adult novels that my daughter has bragged, hey, Dad, there's 2 dads in here. Ugh.
Yeah.
And just kind of scoffed at me.
And
But
we've had some
no,
authors on here like Yuriko
yeah,
O'Hara and Dan Pablocki.
exactly.
Like we've had some other people. So yes, please send us in your recommendations, things you love. Also with not at all related to that. Just want to quickly mention Gays with Kids, who sometimes partners with us for various things. They partnered with our Halloween party. They're doing a queer family holiday fundraising brunch, which
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately we cannot attend because we are very busy and very important. But we wanted to mention it. It is Sunday, December 14th. It is in New York City, of course, which is unfortunately where all of our stuff is right now. But we wanted to mention it because they are raising funds for their academy, which is like kind of teaching people how to be gay
Oh,
dads, which I'm still learning
yeah.
about. Honestly, I don't even know how to fucking
So
do it.
we all are, but they are doing some good work there in trying to be able to open the tribe even more and educate people. So it's going to be at Complete Playground, which is in New York City's financial district. And as David said, on Sunday, December 14th from 10 to 12. Brunch. I mean, there will be bottomless mimosas and just bottoms, I would imagine.
If it's a gay event, it will have brunch and it will have bottoms. That is for sure. So if you guys are interested, please go to that. We will not be there, but Gays with Kids will be there, and we love them. I have something helpful for you, Gavin.
Oh, God.
It's a no,
What?
it's a dad hack of the week.
I
Now, it's
love
not
it.
really a hack, but it is a gift I have learned that has been very, very exciting for my kids. So it is obviously the holiday season, whether you celebrate Christmas or Hanukkah or the death of my career, whatever you celebrate in December. Advent calendars, you know what they are. They're like, a calendar, and every day has a little door, and you open the door, and there's usually a present or chocolate or something
Thanks.
inside.
Thanks for that
Hey, some
explanation.
people don't know what an advent calendar is. If
Okay.
you didn't know what an advent calendar was, please send me a DM. But I got one last year, I think, and then this year we got 2. We got one that's K-pop Demon Hunters, of course, and then we got
Oh,
another one that is like
nice.
magnet tiles, where every day is a
Mhm.
different one.
I love that.
When I tell you my kids bounce out of bed every day because they get to open door number 2, door number 1, door number 3, they
Mhm.
get so fucking excited. And the ones that I have loved the most are the ones that put together a set. So we did a Paw Patrol one a couple years ago, and at the end it was this whole big camping scene where there was a fire and all kinds of things. So
Aw, cute.
if you're looking for a thing that your kids are looking forward to every day, or that you can hold over them if they're
Yes.
being really shitty,
Yes, when you're
advent
able to
calendar.
manipulate their behavior, and even better than easier than this, elf on the fucking shelf.
Absolutely. And honestly, the chocolate like candy ones, they're okay, but I have found the kids love the ones that are little toys that come together to
Yeah.
complete something. So anyway, it works really well. We have held it over them many times, and they quite literally bounce out of bed. And I've told them, if you come out of here without your light turning on before you're supposed to, you don't get to open the door. Those
You
motherfuckers are standing at the door. They are standing, waiting. So advent calendar, that is my dad
Um,
hack of the week.
we have an advent calendar situation at the house. Last year, I got something elaborate for them that was, I think it was a charm bracelet thing for my daughter. She gets a bracelet on day 1 and then little charms for the rest of. By day 9, she didn't even care anymore. But yet she really found an advent calendar something very important for her, and she couldn't wait for it last year and even this year too. But I was able to put together that all she wanted was the $2.99 advent calendar with cheap chocolate from the grocery store. That's all she wanted. She didn't want charms. Sadly, neither of my kids cared about putting together Paw Patrol scenes or Star Wars Legos for that matter. They just want the little bits of chocolate. Listen, I happened to find in the attic the other day as I was getting her Christmas stuff out, a leftover Star Wars advent calendar that was untouched. I mean, that shit could probably sell on the interwebs on day 2 for the irresponsible parents who hadn't thought about this ahead of time. That would have been me. And they couldn't even care less. They just want their little bits of chocolate. They're so jaded and old. Just you wait.
Just
David.
like
It all
us.
gets worse.
Jaded and old.
Speaking of
just
jaded
like
and
us.
old,
Yeah.
a little gay news of the week. As you know, there's no good news in the world, right? But here, as America's finest news source, I have found a couple of things, okay? First of all, an Ohio guy got his gay vanity plate back. He had applied for a vanity plate in Ohio that said gay on it. That's all. Gays. And they said it was inappropriate. Yet, when he dug around and did a little bit of research, he found that you could have a vanity plate that said no gays and no homos.
And probably like D's nuts and eat my dick or whatever.
Right.
I'm sure you could say all of that, but not gays. Yeah.
Now, staying completely true to form and superficial, I haven't dug really deep into this, but I just basically read the headline. And luckily, the Ohio guy got his gay vanity plate, and that is good news in the world.
Proud of you.
Also, we know about the bullshit going on in Texas redistricting, and Texas has unleashed, this fury upon the entire country. Well, apparently a 3-judge panel did determine that the redistricting map had been completely gerrymandered just for Republicans' sake, which we all knew, but that also it had been essentially in a racist way that was going to take away representation for people of color, right? So apparently this 3-panel judge court actually did strike down the gerrymandered districts. And so U.S. Representative Julie Johnson, one of several Democrats who was targeted in the latest efforts, says she is going to seek re-election after the 3-judge panel blocked the maps that had been drawn. So she was going to be drawn out of her Dallas area district for 2026, but she is running again. And God bless her for doing so. Thank you for doing the Lord's work. And all of this redistricting, this is absolutely up my alley, and it's all disgusting. But anyway, finally, before we get to the top 3 list, which I'm definitely prepared with, I do want to celebrate our DILF of the week.
Who's our DILF of the week?
Daddy Claus. Do you know who I mean by that?
No.
The Target strangely hot Santa Claus.
Go
ahead, click on it. I've hyperlinked to it. You've seen these ads, haven't you?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
And now we don't shop at Target, but
of course not.
We
will enjoy.
We will allow this inside of us for sure.
The Silver Fox hot Santa Daddy. That's what it is. Anyway, he is our DILF of the week. Thank you, Daddy Claus, for making all of our Christmas dreams come true.
You know what doesn't make our Christmas dreams come true?
You're welcome for setting you up for that so well.
Our top 3 list.
Gaytriarchs top 3 list. 3, 2, 1.
All right, so this week is your week, kind of.
Oh, that's right.
Right?
It is. That's absolutely right. All right, so this week is our top 3 best Christmas songs. Now, I'm just going to lean into the number 1 because I was at the grocery store this morning and I wanted it was completely empty, and I wanted to be that guy dancing in the aisle. And so guess what? I was. You can guess what that is, but we'll wait till number 1. Okay, so number 2 for me is just Bing Crosby, White Christmas. I do love it when that comes on. I never get sick of hearing that. Never, ever, ever get sick of it. Number 2, silent. Number 2. Oh, holy.
It's just it's like watching a 3-car pileup that becomes a 4-car pileup, and like this, everyone keeps sliding. You know those dash cams? You just see more and more cars.
I wrote
piling
down
up.
I wrote down Silent Night, and I thought, no, that's not what I'm looking for. It's Oh Holy Night. Wow, I was really holy about that one. But I do love Oh Holy Night. Even sung poorly, I love Oh Holy Night.
Oh, the
It's a good
David Phelps version. Have you heard that version where he's like
No.
screaming in the? Maybe I'll put it on at the end of the episode. It is
David Phelps.
incredible. Yeah.
All right. And then number one, All I Want for Christmas Is You. Plain and simple. What about you?
All right, so I had to narrow it down because I was like, top 3 Christmas songs. What a terrible idea for a top 3 list. Because like, whatever, like they're. But to me, I was like, okay, I'm gonna make it the top 3 Christmas songs that fill me with that hygge, that gezellig, that like warmth, Christmas.
Don't even know what you just said.
You know what I mean? It's like that, like warm, cozy fireplace, magical Christmas feeling, right?
Of course.
And so number 3, it's cliche, but it's true. It's Christmas Time Is Here. The Charlie Brown, the Scaraldi trio thing. Yeah.
Love it.
So it is just, it's got that magical, beautiful Christmas feeling. Number 2, listen, I'm from the South. Hard Candy Christmas by Dolly Parton.
Absolutely.
Right? Just gorgeous. It's just warm. It's perfect. And then number 1, this is inarguably the most gezellig song that there is for Christmas. It's also from my absolute favorite Christmas movie of all time, The Spirit of Christmas from Ray Charles. It's the song that plays when Clark is in the attic watching old home movies of his family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's our top 3 list. And so next week, how about we do who are the top 3 hottest Christmas characters?
All right.
Okay, our guest this week might as well be a superhero because she's a doctor. Well, technically a doctor of nursing practice, but she's also an advocate for children with autism. She's a pediatrician committed to inclusive, family-centered care to all patients, even the gross ones. Moreover, she's a mom, and a new mom to boot. Inspired by one of our listeners reaching out to us, asking for a doctor to come on and just tell us all the things about girl parts, our guest fits 2 very important credentials. She's a doctor and a girl. So please welcome to the show our most mysterious guest to date, Dr. X.
Welcome. Dr. X.
Thank you for having me.
Oh
so
my
nice
gosh.
to be on.
Well, so we are calling you Dr. X. That is not your legal name, but we
unfortunately no.
Yeah, but we
and
wanted
there's
you to
no
come
relation
on.
to Elon Musk whatsoever in this.
None.
Or
None at all.
Or the X-Men. You don't know. You could be Storm. We don't know who's on this call. But we wanted you to come on, and we wanted you to be candid and honest and curse with us. So we thought, let's just have you come on as Dr. X. So nobody really knows who you are, but we get all the valuable information out of you. But first, before we begin, how did your kid drive you bananas today?
My child drove me bananas by having the absolute audacity to wake up on my day off at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, the worst.
She knew. She knew it was your day off. Yeah.
She knew.
No.
Yeah. So, I'm a tired mom, but I'm here.
I love that you mentioned the audacity where they don't understand days off, they don't understand weekends, and they certainly don't get time change or daylight savings. If we could change one thing, wave that magic wand about babies, can we please do that, please?
And honestly, when they can understand that, they don't give a shit. They're like, I don't care if it's your day off. I need Pirate's Booty right now. I need a bag of Cheez-Its, and I need Bluey. So whatever issues you're coming up with, Mom, we don't care. Yes, and you were saying before we started recording that like you hope your baby doesn't interrupt with crying, but also your husband with his crying.
Yes, I have 2 babies at home with a husband with a broken leg and a 6-month-old. So basically the same thing.
Oh my gosh, that just sounds terrible on all fronts. But thank you for spending this time with us on your day off. I really do appreciate it. We reached out to you because we actually had a listener reach out to us, and he is a gay dad, and he was saying, hey, we're about to have a girl, and I'm very nervous because I have little to no experience in the girl world. You know, some of us gays are gold star, platinum. Some of us have had plenty of maybe sexual relations with women, but we don't really know enough to feel like we know enough. And
Yeah.
so I was like, let's bring on a real doctor who's really a girl who can kind of tell us about these things. Because I remember when I found out I was having a girl, I panicked in the same way, and it sounds so stupid. Like when I say it out loud, who cares? She has a vagina. Like, why are you freaking out? But I really did. I panicked because I was like, I don't know how to properly take care of these things. Is this common? Is this a common thing you get from parents who are maybe having a girl from either your dads or whatever, that they don't know what they're doing?
Yeah, I all the time, even the women.
Mm,
I mean, having a child is scary no matter what, and when you have the added layer of not knowing much at all about the gender of the baby that you're get, you know, getting, it can be really scary. My husband is one of them.
mm-hmm,
So, I think that it's a universal experience. I do have the benefit of being both a provider and a girl,
mm-hmm.
so hopefully I can help clear some of that up. But just know you're not alone, and this is scary and it's new, and you're not expected to be perfect. Your child certainly isn't perfect, so why should you be?
Not to mention the fact that uh, reproductive education is so lacking in our country, and we don't get nearly enough of it because we're such a puritanical society that we think that it's wrong to even talk about sex or genitalia or the act. And so therefore, I would imagine, like you just said, even a lot of moms are kind of like, I don't know what to say. So we're not alone, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's so important, especially in these times, to use anatomical terms when you're talking about parts. Educate kids from when they are old enough to understand, like 2, 3 years old, that their body is their body. And, I think that now more than ever, parents are having to provide that type of information to their child because it's not being taught anywhere else. So it's definitely a tough thing to navigate and can be awkward at times, but it is really important. And there's a lot of pressure on parents. So, like with everything else.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, and I would say that like the first line that I feel like you have to get good at is like feeling comfortable to ask those questions, and maybe having a doctor that you feel comfortable asking those questions. I am very lucky to have a doctor that I feel very comfortable asking those things, but I think sometimes maybe gay dads or even straight dads feel a little awkward bringing certain things up because it's awkward, and maybe they just decide to withhold that for whatever reason
mhm.
because it's awkward. And so I would say that is, for as far as like advice from a 3-year-old girl dad, is that you have to get over that shit when you're going to become a parent
Yeah.
of a child, is to be like, say, she has something weird in her vagina. You have to be able to say that to the doctor, because if you just go, oh, I guess everything is fine, because you're embarrassed, you're compromising the healthcare, obviously, of your kid, and just everybody, right? And I'm sure, tell me as a doctor, are you super weirded out when a dad asks you about something like that, or are you like, no, that's my job?
No, we live in the awkward shit. So we want you to ask all the awkward questions. I mean, if you have a good provider, your provider probably can anticipate some of them,
Hmm.
especially if you have a provider who is accustomed to taking care of families that look like many different things. And that's something I think is important for parents who are looking for a pediatrician. Make sure that your pediatrician is someone who values that type of relationship and values every different type of family,
Hmm.
because not every pediatrician does, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I think that that's something you could do from day one, and then ask awkward questions from day one. If your pediatrician or your provider is weird about it, then they're not a good provider.
Yeah, yeah, I would
Yeah,
agree. I would agree with that.
totally.
We as gay people, I think, are often tasked with these little mini tests we've kind of create in our
Hmm.
lives about how to sense if we're safe, right? If it's with a pediatrician, do we say the word husband and kind of gauge their eye contact when we walk into a store? Do we look, or do people look like us? Do we all, I think, as gay people, have these like little these little tests that we're putting on you straight people to try and trick
The
you.
antennas go up.
Yeah, I mean, it's important, right? And then this is, in this case, for dads or dads to be, this is, you're now dealing with the health of somebody that you're tasked with keeping in charge of. So I want to ask you a couple of the awkward questions for our listener,
Go
from
for it.
birth all the way till maybe they're 18. Just because I love that this listener reached out for this. So I'm going to start with something that hit me first. So when I first had a girl, I was very nervous about just the literal structure of a vagina and a labia and like all that stuff. By diaper change number 2, I was no longer weirded out. But what I realized quickly was I didn't really know the anatomy when she had a liquid blowout and stuff went inside of her. And that's when I went, I am beyond my means. So my question to you is, when you have an infant who has like a liquid diarrhea and it goes inside of them, how do you clean that? How far do you go in? What do you do?
Well, the first thing you do is...
By the way, welcome to Gaytriarchs. Here's your first question. Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
The first thing you do is try not to throw up.
Right. Universal. Uh-huh.
Yes. The next thing that you do is you always want to wipe from the front of the vagina to the butthole. So you are going from top to bottom. You want to make sure that you are cleaning every crevice.
Mm-hmm.
So it might feel a little awkward at first to really get up in there, but you gotta, all the folds, all the little nooks and crannies, any poop that stays in the vagina can cause an infection.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing you want when you have a new baby is to have to go back to the hospital because your kid has a UTI.
Yeah.
So getting all up in there, you don't have to, put a wipe on your finger and stick it in the vagina. You just have to wipe the outside. It doesn't go all the way in.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of sits on the outside of the vagina opening. So you just have to make sure you clean that really well. But sometimes you have to do the wipe, wait a second, reevaluate, new poop will pop up that you didn't think was there before. It's a task.
Yeah.
And it is, take your time, and they'll probably keep pooping while you do it.
Along those lines, while you're in this very topic or milieu, what are the terms that you want to use that are the very basics everybody's got to know, besides, for instance, vagina and labia?
So the urethra and the vagina are two different holes.
Mm-hmm.
That is the biggest thing. Also, the urethra is very small. So just keep in mind that when you're looking at female anatomy, it is a tiny little dot. The big hole below it is the vagina. And then you have, if you're going technical, you have your anus. Most people call it a butthole, though.
Even
or if you're not
acclaimed
at the
doctors.
doctor, their ass. Yes. And then those are really the most important terms. Everything else kind of doesn't matter.
Right.
I mean, can I also say, I'm putting myself out there, like a little awkwardness, but like, to me, the first thing I realized I didn't know was that, like you're saying, there's the vagina, there's the urethra, right? But the flaps up over that is the vulva, correct? That is what's kind of the doors closing in on the thing. And that is, to me, where I went, oh, I thought that entrance, that was the vagina. Like that door was but it is not. And so when you say clean in there, you're saying that those doors can part a little bit as you clean some of that diarrhea out. I'm having hives now even talking about it, but I know
you're definitely spiraling.
Beneficial.
You're
I'm
spiraling.
totally spiraling.
Let her talk.
Also, I mean, yeah.
So I spend my day talking about poop and pee and all those things. So
Nice.
just know
Same.
you're not making me uncomfortable.
No.
So yes, most parents do. So basically, yes, you want to part the doors, and it's like a credit card swipe, which every parent is very familiar with. You want to swipe the credit card.
Get those Chase Sapphire points. Get your free trip to Paris and clean out the vulva. Yes.
Your child-free trip to Paris.
Yes, exactly. and wipe from top to bottom, which is also the title of Gavin's autobiography.
Totally. But also we should basically refer to then female anatomy like the region as the vulva more than we should the vagina, technically. Is that right?
I mean, kind of. The reason that I refer to it as a vagina as a whole is because, and this gets a little dark, but if anyone ever touches your child in a way that you don't want them to,
Mm-hmm.
you want them to use the word vagina because
Mm.
that is the word that everyone
Got
recognizes.
it.
Got it.
So it's easiest to just label the entire thing as vagina,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully you never need to worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
But if you have taught that word, then you never have to worry that a teacher or a principal or a friend is not going to understand what the kid's saying.
That
Yeah.
makes perfect sense.
That's amazing. And also, I want to point out that, like, I think it was a couple episodes ago, I was talking about my pediatrician and how much I appreciate, and I hope most pediatricians do, which is when my daughter became, I want to say around 2 or so, every time we would do an exam, the doctor would say, now, I want you to understand, talking to my daughter, I want you to know that only your parents and a doctor with your parents in the room are allowed to touch your private area. Like, started that conversation going. And I brought it up as my something great a couple weeks ago because, I think about, okay, you got to teach your daughter to, like, her body's her own. But I always think, oh, yeah, when she's 10, 20, like 20, like,
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think it's this. But starting it young, and she goes, yeah, nobody's allowed to touch this, was so important. And I so appreciated that. And I love that. That's why you're saying just calling it a catch-all vagina is,
Mm-hmm.
but no pun intended, but like that I know, I know. Gavin, you
No.
looked at me like, are you going to pick up that ball? Okay, so great. So we've kind of delved a little bit. Now I want to move into, what are some things that parents of a girl, now that maybe the baby is now 3, 4, 5, in that range, what are some things that we should start thinking about when it comes to their health care?
That she is not capable of wiping herself.
Okay.
Ah.
Um, it is a very common thing. The second a child learns to potty train, you're just so excited that you don't have to wipe their ass anymore
Yeah.
that you say, go to the bathroom, do your thing, and come back.
Mm,
Um, the majority of infections and rashes and discomfort that I see in that age group is from poop and pee that is left to sit there.
Mm.
mm,
So your daughter needs to be taught how to wipe herself.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a learning curve. She will wipe from back to front. You're going to have to tell her she's wiping her poop into her vagina. And it's it's going to be an experience. You're probably going to have to do it in public at some point. In
mhm.
private, you're going to have to teach her, and she's going to get it wrong in the beginning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have to be going in and you're going to have to be checking her and making sure she's A, dry, and B, has no poop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So those are the two biggest things for that age group because they're learning to be independent with
Yeah.
that activity. And for a man, they don't really have to worry about drying off.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not a huge concern.
Hmm.
But if you have a daughter who has pee sitting in her vagina all day, she's going to get a yeast infection. She's going to get a rash. She's going to get a UTI, and that is not that is not something that you want to have to deal with
Yeah.
because girls are miserable when they don't feel well like that.
And
Yeah.
therefore,
So
the parents are miserable when the girls are miserable too.
yes,
So,
by default,
and so, but it all comes down to, even when you are teaching your daughter, it all comes down to front to back. Even then, that's what
front
they
to
have to keep
back.
in mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're teaching them to swipe the credit card early.
Uh-huh. and that will be a lesson that will serve them well forever, as long as you're rich.
As
Yes,
silly,
yes.
as funny as it is, like, I hear what you're saying about, like, you don't want poop in your vagina. That is a simple, kind of easy way for them to kind of remember which, because, like, front to back, like top to bottom, like, I think that's a little harder, but, like, you don't want poop in your vagina, I think, is a really nice way, because I think, like, my daughter's 3, she can understand that, right? She doesn't always
Yeah.
understand, like, you don't want a UTI because pee in your vulva, she's not going to understand any of that stuff. But also, I remember our dentist saying, like, yes, your kids at 3, your kid, and 6 too, your kids can brush their own teeth. You should still be brushing their teeth because they still are not quite great at it, and it's going to lead to teeth decay. And you're saying it's the same thing. We're like, yes, your daughter could probably wipe her own butt, but still be there, still do it with her. Yeah, that's great advice.
One of the things that you could actually do to help her learn is you take clothespins and you stick them to the back of her pants, and you have her practice like a game, reaching behind her and taking the clothespins off. It gives them the ability and the muscle memory to reach behind and wipe. And if they're reaching behind to wipe, they can't wipe front back to front.
Interesting.
Great life hack.
Oh, a little fun game for the Christmas party at Nana's house.
A birthday party game.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Totally. Also, the amount of times when you're saying like do it in public, the amount of times I've had to wipe my child's butt in front of other people, like it is. Talk about shame. The amount of times that I have been so humiliated, I don't feel humiliation anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I had to do it. I was just at a brewery like a few weeks ago, and my daughter, in the middle of the brewery, in front of everyone, had to change her diaper. She was trying to grab my beer as I was changing her diaper. You gotta you let it, just let it go.
Yeah.
Anyone who judges you is the problem.
Dr. X, do you know this quote? You have a baby at a bar. Do you know that quote?
Oh yeah.
From Sweet Home Alabama. Anyway, okay, so moving on. So now we have left our toddler, young preschooler. Now we're into like late first decade. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, right before we get to the preteen, teen era. What are some things that as girl dads or girl parents we should know?
They're already probably going to be starting puberty, believe it or not. So, the one of the biggest things is that under the age of 8, if you notice any breast buds, any oniony body odor smell, any body hair, it's too early and you need to go to the doctor.
Okay.
So anything under 8, get her checked.
Okay.
8 and up, totally normal. She's going to start to smell.
That's not in we have too many hormones in our milk and kids are developing too early, or whether or not that's the case. You're saying 8 and above is not abnormal. Start paying attention.
Yes, yes. So, believe it or not, the endocrinology experts have actually confirmed that the hormones and the endocrine disruptors and all those things are causing an increased rate of precocious puberty. So, the crunchy community won in that respect, but the standard has been 8 for a really long time. You can expect breast buds anytime after like 8 or older. And that is when you'll really start to notice those things develop. And that is when you should start the discussions of safe sex, what's happening to her body. You should have already at that point, because we don't put enough pressure on parents already to do all the other things.
Yeah.
You should have already at that point started talking about body autonomy and who is allowed to touch you and consent. But the beginning of puberty, the second that they start having those breast buds, is the second you start talking about the way their body will change and the way their relationships to others and their body changing can relate to each other.
Yeah. Yeah, I think our listener who reached out has a child basically about to go through puberty, and they were starting to panic about like, what do I do, like with all of this stuff. So I love that idea of bringing up the discussion. How do you feel about as a doctor, at least, with the when you're talking about the discussion of puberty and what's happening in your bodies and what you're going to start feeling, is also the idea of sex for pleasure and not just sex for reproduction.
I think that it is extremely important to normalize sex. Losing your virginity is not, um, it is as big of a deal as your child wants it to be, right? So it's their body. They are, they're going to have sex. They're going to have sex for pleasure. It is, it is something that is a normal part of life. And if you're teaching the birds and the bees as a way to reproduce, then you're not really being honest with your child. So I mean, and everyone has sex for fun. That is
right.
And for crying, like me. On my
Yes.
example, I cry a lot during sex, but that's a different story. No, but you're right. No, I brought it up as a little test for you. You passed, by the way. Is because I think that's what they're feeling. They're feeling the desire to feel it feels good. And if you've been told no, that's just for procreation, you should not enjoy this, they're gonna just get it elsewhere. They're gonna
And
get that information elsewhere.
That's definitely another discussion of another like rabbit hole to go down. But I love that term. I just want to rephrase what you said. Losing their virginity is as big as a deal as they want it to be, and not what we want it to be. Although even we who are pro sex and sex positive, it does. It's you said that, and I thought, I clutched my pearls a little bit, being like, well, that's true. I'm the one making it into a big deal, I would say, and so. And also, I want to take a moment to just point out so much of all you're saying is just keeping open lines of communication and talking through it and talking through it and talking through it. I grew up in the 1920s when sex ed didn't exist, and talking about the birds and the bees was absolutely something shoved under the rug, although it was not. I mean, I had awkward conversations with my mom for sure, but not enough of them, everything is taboo or dirty or illicit. And so we want to, taboo and illicit is fun, but we should talk about it some more. Let's talk about it from age 1.
I completely agree. I also want to point out too that, if your daughter isn't learning that sex is for pleasure, then if she's with someone who sucks at it, she's going to have no idea that she's missing out on something. So, it teaches communication in that way too. She should communicate with her partner what her needs are.
Yeah.
And that's something, that is also a taboo topic that I feel like a lot of parents shy away from. But I can tell you that I get teenagers asking me about that during our visits. So that is something they care about. It's something they want to know. Also, educating your child on all the different kinds of sex, because they may not know who they're interested in at that point. So if you're only providing information on safe sex with the opposite sex, then they could be missing out. Maybe they're not interested in the opposite sex, and then they, if you have a daughter and she's interested in women and she's having sex with women, she might not be protecting herself during sex with a woman because she thinks she doesn't have to. So it's the awkward conversations are supposed to be uncomfortable, but they're really important to have. And if you're not comfortable having them, totally fine. I get it. We'll do it for you.
Yeah.
That's great.
Or somebody else that you don't want answering for them.
Yeah.
Do you have any suggestions for instance, if you're in the room with a young patient, a female who you can tell doesn't want to talk about things, but you're like, I need to do this. Do you have any techniques for opening up that can of worms a little bit to just get them to talk?
Yes. So I usually will try to get them to laugh. Some, self-disparaging humor usually works a little bit. I have the benefit of looking very young, so I usually, make a comment about how I was their age not long ago, and I have been there, done that, so there's no judgment from me. Um, it's really important for them to feel like you don't think anything that they could bring up would be weird or awkward or uncomfortable,
Right.
even if you're dying inside. And I can tell you, I have been dying inside, but they have no idea. They're gonna say things that make you want to laugh. They're gonna say things that are just so absurd that you have to physically hold your mouth shut. But as long as you on the outside look like you are calm, cool, and collected, it'll make them open up more. Thankfully, I wear a mask at my practice, so it hides my facial expressions. If you don't have the benefit of that, then you got to practice keeping a straight face.
Do you have
for
any
sure.
suggestions for Gavin how to keep his mouth shut? Because I've been working on that for about 2 years and it's not going very well.
If I knew, I would have already used it.
Nice, absolutely fantastic. This has been just like so great. So even we're not even done, and I'm just like, I feel like our listener is just going to be so excited about all the information we're getting from you. I'm overwhelmed. But okay, so I want to talk a little bit about being a doctor in 2025. And I know. Well, I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole, but like, tell me some things that you love about being a doctor right now in 2025 and what you think you are giving to the world that's good. And then I also want to hear like what is so fucked up about your industry that you are desperate to change.
Sure. So the good thing or the benefit of being a doctor now is that people are finally asking really the questions that they were thinking in their head, but were afraid to admit out loud. And I have really enjoyed having really real conversations. I feel like in 2025, your doctors are real people now. You can be honest and open with them, and they are honest and open with you. We're also real people going through real things. So, it's as much as there's a lot going on in the world right now that maybe isn't so good, there's also an openness that there wasn't before. So I have really enjoyed being able to have the tougher conversations
Mhm.
with, my patients, but also the parents. And that has been something that I've really valued. And I've seen change from, 10 plus years ago when I entered medicine to now. I don't have to worry as much about what I'm saying, and they don't have to worry as much either. So, we can talk about sex, we can talk about, drugs, we can talk about alcohol, we can talk about all of the hard things in parenting that are they fucking suck.
Mhm.
And you can admit that to your patient,
Yeah.
and they will agree with you,
Yeah.
and that way you can enjoy the great things even more
Mhm.
because it's a well-rounded experience. The other side to that coin, though, is that there are some people who get their information from
Mhm.
really interesting places.
Social media makes it the
YouTube
best of
bros.
times.
Yeah.
It makes it the
Totally.
best of
Yes,
times and the worst of times, huh? Like
Yeah.
it
yes,
destigmatizes so many topics that you were just saying, and so we have an more open dialogue. But there's literal misinformation, huh?
so much misinformation, and I mean some of it is nuts. But the misinformation is so rampant that it's making it impossible for us to protect kids
Mm.
sometimes, vaccinate, get them, the help they need in teenagehood. It's really been quite the challenge. And we, as at least in the pediatric world, I can't really speak to the adult world, but we in the pediatric world are really trying to find a way to spread accurate information, let people make their own choices, but with the correct information,
Yeah.
and not lose our minds while we do it.
But also you have to I appreciate pediatric practices who don't have time for your bullshit that will affect the health of their people. So like during the whole like, oh, COVID thing, and also vaccines cause Tylenol or whatever the fuck the thing was,
Right.
where you're like, sorry, if you want to not vaccinate your child, find another fucking place. You can't be here. You can't be amongst our people. And so I think that's probably awkward. That's probably something that you, as a pediatric practice, have never really had to stand up for because everyone kind of agreed, like, oh yeah, let's take our vaccines. Where now you kind of have to decide: are we a practice who says no, or are we a
Hmm.
practice who goes, well, if your deeply held religious beliefs tell you that you should wipe dirt on your vagina to clear the urinary tract infection, then we respect that, right? I don't respect it, and
Yeah,
I'm glad that some pediatricians don't. Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely. I mean, it is really, it's freeing in a way for us to be able to say, no, this is what we stand for, and our priority is your child's health. And that is, of course we're using evidence-based information to advise you. But if you are not willing to listen or have a discussion with us, then maybe you need to be in a place where that provider shares your beliefs.
I do not want to be
They
wherever that
exist.
is. Yeah, I don't want to be there.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I don't really want measles. I don't
Yeah.
want to get it from your child.
No.
Have you found any ways, though, going back to what you said of trying to find the way to spread the right information? I mean, is there something going on to help counter misinformation constructively yet?
I think that, believe it or not, social media
Well,
is kind of what we're doing,
yeah,
which
that makes
is
sense.
it really the best? But
But it's where
You're
people are.
quite
It's where
literally,
people are,
yeah.
right?
quite literally fighting fire with fire with the same
Yeah.
tools and everything. Then also, though, going back to something else you said, there's some batshit stuff out there that you're hearing. Can you share some of the nonsense that has most made you guffaw?
Yes. I had a parent tell me that they didn't want to give their child the, their vaccines because they they didn't get vaccinated.
Mm.
And then the next visit, the other parent came with the child. So it was the dad who said, "No, no, I'm not doing that. I didn't get vaccines." The next visit, the other parent and the dad's parent came to the visit. And turns out that dad got every single
Of course
vaccine.
he did.
Of course he did.
So
He just doesn't remember it. Yeah, exactly.
he just doesn't remember it.
Yes.
I've heard people say that they didn't want their kid to have Tylenol after the vaccines because they were afraid it would cause autism.
Ugh.
Those are
Right,
the things
right.
that used to be wild to hear, now no longer are making me, open my mouth in shock. But I have had, I've had parents who will tell me I'm not giving my child this antibiotic because it's based in mold, penicillin.
Okay. Oh,
They're
right. I mean, I see the link. I
Yeah,
see
but like
the logic that they're
strawberries are
trying.
grown with like compost manure as their fertilizer. You're not eating shit.
What is
Like,
is
what are you
cheese?
talking about?
What is cheese?
I mean, even if you buy organic, freshly, local farm strawberries, they're going to have a little bit of shit on
A
them.
little bit of shit. And
Right.
also, as gay men, we're familiar with a little bit of shit. Do you know what I mean? Just like a little
Just a
bit of
little-
shit. And if you're a parent, you're familiar with a lot of fucking shit.
And you're still standing.
I'm
Yep.
I'm technically sitting, but yes, I'm still standing to
This actually
to,
reminds me of the plague that I was least expecting as a parent of a young kid back in kindergarten days was when the teacher sent out an APB that we had pinworms in the class, and I had to Google what the hell are pinworms. And we were walking around clutching our pearls an awful lot in the class saying, "Oh my God, this is awful, this is awful, this is awful." And one very smart parent said, "You know what? We had it as a family. It spread in that apartment. It actually wasn't that big a deal. And our doctor said, this is what is supposed to be happening. We are supposed to be strengthening our immune systems. This is not that big a deal. It's not a massive tragedy. It's annoying, but he's like, but this is the reality of the world. We get exposed to germs and shit, and shit happens." So
and shit happens, but also the shame, like Gavin, you're talking about, like this, what it all, it's big in like the STI world, right? Like I'm
Mhm.
ashamed of whatever I'm feeling or happening, or the idea of a herpes or gonorrhea or whatever, and so we don't talk about it, or we adjust our behavior instead of being like, we have to talk about this stuff to keep ourselves protected. And like you saying with the pinworms, if we were ashamed and we kept our mouths shut, people gonna, so taking a little bit of the shame out of it,
Mhm.
I think, especially as parents, oh my
Mhm.
God, is so important when it comes to sex or consent or all of that kind of stuff.
I completely agree. Fun fact, in a standard STI panel, we actually don't test for herpes anymore because everyone
Because
has
everyone
it.
has
oh,
it.
interesting.
Because
Yeah.
everyone has gotten a cold sore. Now they have herpes. Boom. You win.
Yeah.
No. No.
Yeah, exactly.
So you also have spent some time with the sector of healthcare that deals with obesity and autism. I want to, we don't have that much time left, but I want to talk a little bit about that because I think autism especially is having a little bit of a visibility moment right now. And I think some people
Certainly.
get confused. Obesity also, not only with like GLP-1s and stuff, but just in general, Americans' obesity. I'm especially interested as it relates to children and being a parent and what we can do to kind of help, if any, with anything like that.
I think the biggest thing is making sure that your child is following body positive people on social media
Mm.
Mm,
because while it is true that every person can be healthy and look a different way, it's also important to make sure that your child has good role models that they're seeing on screens because let's be honest, our children are looking at screens like 90% of the time.
Yeah.
So people like Alona Mar, those athletes, the especially girls, but boys too.
Big
You want to
time.
make sure that they're looking at people who all look different ways and are all setting examples of healthy habits.
Yeah, not
So
just fucking peptides
exercise.
and cryptocurrency. It's like, come on,
Yes,
guys, there's
like
more to the world.
if I have one more teenage boy tell me that he's taking creatine and 50 other supplements because someone on social media told
Yeah.
him that it was a good
That he
idea,
would get a 6-pack if he did that.
yeah, my brain will explode. I feel like I have that conversation like 5 times a week.
Wow.
But it is such a problem. And I think, neurodivergent, neurotypical, any child is easily influenced by the people around them. So do I care, more than I probably should about how I look, especially after giving birth? Yeah. Do I want my child to know that? Probably not.
Yeah.
Right.
The way that I speak about it, I have to be careful because, she's 6 months old, so she doesn't know what the fuck I'm saying right now. But when she's old enough to understand, I don't want her to remember, oh, my mom was talking shit about her body, so that's how I should talk.
Right.
Yeah.
And I do weight management at my day-to-day job, and one of the things that I talk about is how I could care less what your weight is on a scale. What I care about is actually your numbers, your cholesterol, your insulin, your A1C, how healthy you are you exercising? And like the majority of the world doesn't like to exercise. They don't like to eat healthy. Food tastes good. So it's about balance. And that is something that parents have to model. And I will be the first person to admit that I don't always do that. So I think it's something that's really important for parents to just get in the habit of doing from when their kids really young so that it becomes second nature. Neurodivergent children, autistic children are at even higher risk because oftentimes they have sensory aversions. They don't have the best diets sometimes because of texture issues or taste issues. So, modeling healthy behaviors and setting a good example is important. So,
Yeah.
as much as you may not want to, I mean, I have a Peloton bike behind me that I have not used in 6 months, but as much as you may not feel like your best version of yourself every day, your child should while not thinking that everything is perfect and rosy all the time, should at least, not be putting themselves down because they see you do it.
Yeah, I for sure made that mistake, and it was one of those times as a parent I realized the weight and the enormity of my role as a dad. Was I have a very negative kind of relationship with my own body. Grew up in sports. I've always been a little bit chubby, and even though from the outside I look just like regular, I'm always lifting up my shirt in the mirror, kind of turning to the side. Like I'm doing that a lot. And my kids started noticing it and started saying, "Daddy, why do you always lift up your shirt?" And my husband was like, "Stop that shit now."
They
And I
really are watching.
realized, because in my brain I was like, no, you guys, your guys' body beautiful. Daddy's body is fucking disgusting. Nobody loves me. And I was like, oh no, I'm modeling it for them. And that was one of those moments when I was like, oh no, this it's exactly what you're talking about. This is my job as a parent, is to, whether I feel it or not, even if I feel fat, modeling how much I love my body for them.
And that overarching sense of body, just that dysmorphia and the self-regard is just as prevalent, as you were saying, Dr. X, in boys as it is in girls. 2 years ago, my son had a text thread going on with friends, and they were all comparing whether or not they had six-pack abs. And I thought, you kids are 10. Like, if you do or you don't, this is absurd. Why are we having this conversation? And the parents were talking about how they were all comparing, the boys were comparing each other based on who had six-pack abs. And my son is a real athlete and naturally is very lean. And my daughter's like, why can't I have six-pack abs like him? And I'm like, oh my God, this is
because she's not taking
awful.
creatine, Gavin. Send her the TikToks.
Yeah, clearly she's not on YouTube.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, sadly. Right.
yeah, I mean, I fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could name on one hand the amount of people I know who, are uh, uh, always positive about their body. I mean, you're talking to someone who went on a GLP-1 like 3 months after giving birth.
Mm.
So I will be the first person to admit, I am some of what I say can be hypocritical.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, you're welcome home, baby.
You're in the right
Welcome.
place.
You're in the right place. We are hypocrites, if not anything.
But it's so important to just always be, you don't have to be perfect, but you have to try your best,
Mhm.
at least like 50% of the time.
Yeah.
Well, Dr.
I
X,
love that. Yeah.
this is already 50% is probably beyond the threshold that we deserve here at Gaytriarchs. And you have brought another level of legitimacy to us today that we're a little embarrassed that we don't keep this
deserve.
legitimacy.
Yeah.
We don't deserve you. But
Yeah.
I hope that we can have an ongoing conversation. Maybe it's a little tea time with Dr. X is our
Yeah,
next.
I love that.
Our next series that we will only occasionally come back to, which is no reflection on you, but only on our idiocy and hypocrisy. But Dr. X, please tell us what comes to mind when we think about that moment that you will never forget in your parenting journey that you think, wow, this shit really hit the fan this time.
Well, about 2 months ago, I was playing with my daughter in bed, and baby bird, threw up into my mouth. And
Oh, you didn't even warm us up for that one. You just ran for it.
nope. But you know what? I didn't return her.
I was gonna
So
you didn't reciprocate?
nope. I didn't bring her back to the hospital and say, "Can I exchange?"
Oh my
I
God.
didn't, I didn't throw up back onto
Oh,
her.
God.
It was the hardest thing I have ever done, with the exception of being cut open the day after my baby shower to have her.
Oh my God. I think we all of our listener was just with you in that moment and all collectively screamed in our cars or wherever we're listening to this podcast, because we all know that is a risk, and you unfortunately fell victim to that. Oh
You
my
sure
God.
did.
Like, it's one of those moments where I go,
The
what do you do
image.
first? What do you do
Yes.
first? What do you how do I rectify the situation? I don't know what to do right now.
Well, I'll tell you, my husband was laughing his ass off
Yeah.
next to me. So
Oh man.
In
Well,
that case, he's given a pass for that because that is funny as shit.
yep,
it is
definitely.
Oh my God. I love that.
Yeah,
That is a great story.
we pediatric providers are not immune.
No, because you're a parent. You're just a crazy ass person who wanted to get on this wild train ride with us. Dr. X, inarguably our most informative, best guest we've ever had. I'm so thankful you came on. I think you've done so much good for a lot of parents out there
Agreed.
who are, like myself, feel uncomfortable asking the hard questions, but know they need to be great dads. So thank you for demeaning yourself by being on our stupid little podcast.
Well, thank you for having me. I think that it's really important to, provide that information, and thank you guys for giving me a platform to do so. I think it's hopefully been helpful, and if anyone has any of those awkward questions they don't want to ask their doctor and they want to ask me, feel free. I will always keep it real.
Tea
Thank
time
you.
with Dr. X. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm really excited about our something great.
Okay.
Many times we've talked about podcasts we like, and I don't think I've mentioned one that I've listened to for years called Articles of Interest. It's like the history of fashion. Now, before you roll your eyes about the pearls and purses I'm spraying, it's not like what Christian Dior designed in 1961, but it's like, how were pockets designed? How did baseball caps get made? And this season was entirely focused on outdoor gear. And in particular, there's one episode about camouflage that is absolutely fascinating. And it's a reminder of how when you sometimes don't feel seen, suddenly your people pop up in unexpected places. And not that anything about this is gay at all, but it's about how people actually make fashion choices to bring about camouflage. And I'm just telling you, it is something great. Articles of Interest.
Wow, it never ceases to amaze me when our something greats align. By the way, listener out there, Gavin and I keep them secret from each other.
We don't communicate.
We don't
at all.
communicate whatever. We just do it. And it is more often than not they are thematically together.
Huh.
So my something great this week is it's one of those level ups in parenting that you don't think about prior to, but when you're in the trenches, you realize what a big deal it is. My kids, it is now winter where we are. My kids, putting kids' fingers in gloves
Such a pain.
is inarguably the worst part about parenting.
Yeah.
It can really make you suicidal.
Yes.
The day your kids understand the concept of wiggling their fingers to get in every little hole is magical. And it happened this week with my 3-year-old. My 3-year-old now understands the concept of every finger goes into one of the fingers and you wiggle them until they're around or whatever. And it has made getting ready to go outside so much easier, so much less stress. And it's small, but it is very much something great. And that is our show. If you have any comments, suggestions, or general compliments, you can email us at GaytriarchsPodcast@gmail.com.
Or you can DM us on Instagram. We are at GaytriarchsPodcast. On the internet, David is at David FM Vaughn everywhere, and Gavin is at Wiggly Fingers on Nothing.
Please leave us.
That's not how we do it. It's at Gavin.
It's okay. I was going to let it slide, honestly. It's just not normally like me. Do you want to do it again?
No, just keep going.
Please leave us a glowing 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts.
Thanks. And we'll wiggly finger you next time
Jesus
on
Christ.
another episode of Gaytriarchs.
Oh, sorry, everyone.
Christmas is the time of year for being with the ones we love, sharing so much joy and cheer. What a wonderful feeling, watching the ones we love having so much fun. I was sitting by the fireside, taking a walk through the snow, listening to a children's choir, singing songs about blessed way that he came to us. Why can't it remain? All through the year, each day the same. That's what I want to hear. It's truly amazing, that spirit of Christmas. I tell you, it's truly amazing. That spirit of Christmas. Let me hear you. Why can't it remain? Why can't it remain? All through the year. All through the year. Each day the same. Each day the same. And that's what I want to hear. Listen to me. It's truly amazing. That spirit of Christmas. Oh, it's truly amazing. That spirit of Christmas. Ain't it so? It's truly amazing. Yeah. That spirit of Christmas.